Hello, today I'm going to demonstrate how to use Sterile Field. So before I get started, I would go to the sink and wash my hands, after which case I would apply some clean gloves, which are different from actual sterile gloves that are in a package, which I'll be using for this process in just a moment. Now, before I would actually get into Sterile Field, I could debride the wound and clean it using just clean gloves, but to apply the dressing afterwards, you need to be in Sterile Field so as to prevent any contamination. All right. This process will require an aid to secure your gown, so just keep that in mind. You will need a second person. All right. Now, I don't have any gauze or anything, but the first thing that you're going to do is get out all of your supplies. You can do that just in clean. All right. The gown package includes one gown as well as one Sterile Field. It's very important whenever you pick up the Sterile Field that you grab an outer edge. The outer border is considered non-sterile for an inch. So an inch around the whole border is considered non-sterile. You can touch that part with clean gloves, but you cannot touch that part, or you can't touch anything inside of that 1 inch border, except for placing your sterile supplies. At this point, I would unpackage all of my gauze or anything else that I was going to be using to bandage the wound and place on the Sterile Field, as well as opening up my package of sterile gloves. Very important that the packaging is not sterile, so you don't want it to touch your Sterile Field. Now, everything's opened up at this point. My hands are contaminated because I've been touching packaging that is not sterile, so I would need to take off these gloves. And at this point, it's good practice to go ahead and wash your hands again before putting on your sterile gloves and your gown, which I'm going to do next. So the first thing that I have to do is put on the gown, again, which will require an aid. Again, you want to touch as little of it as possible and let it unfold without turning your back to the Sterile Field. You do not want to turn your back to the Sterile Field. this point, my aid's going to come and secure this to the back of my neck. Okay. Next, I'm going to put on the sterile gloves. This part can be a little bit tricky, but practicing it, after a little bit of practice, it's not so bad. I'm just moving that out of the way to make sure that you can see on the camera. How that they're folded up, the first glove that you put on, you can touch the inside of the glove. So this part of the glove is technically the inside of the glove, and that's fine. But I don't want to touch the outside of the glove with my bare hand. That's as good as I can do right now. Then I'm going to put the other glove on and further secure this glove. Now, since this hand is gloved up, I cannot touch the inside of this glove, but I can touch the outside of it because this hand is technically sterile. So I pick up this glove from the inside, or outside rather. This part takes a little bit of practice. Just make sure of where the thumb is so that you put it on correctly. And it should just slip on. Again, these gloves do have powder, which makes them easier to slip on. And that's all you got to do. Then I can come here from the inside and secure that glove. So now my hands are in sterile field. At this point, I've still got to secure the strap around my waist, which again will require the aid. The strap is considered sterile, so I just disconnect this piece. The aid makes sure that the only part that she touches is the end, the part that's white. I can touch the blue part, that's fine, that's sterile. But again, I don't want to pass my hands around my back because that's not sterile. So I bring this to the side. She'll grab a hold of the card and then bring it around. I will grab the strap and she'll pull the card, and then I will secure the waist. At this point, I'm in sterile field. I can continue with dressing the wound and completing whatever else that I need to do with the patient that requires me to be in sterile